All right, this time on the Clone Wars, we're continuing our Ryloth arc. This is the Innocence of Ryloth. Sides of Coin starts right now. Yeah.
That was an episode.
This was, yeah, that was, that was a good callback. No, this was a good one. I'm really excited to talk about this one. I really like some of the characters we meet in this. We've got Michael with us today.
How's it going?
And Stecker behind the whoa. What have you done? I can't believe
my face.
I can't believe you've done this.
This is Stecker being fired as a producer.
It's a great time to say, you have failed me for the last time, Stecker. You might.
I thought that was
you might still be in camp anyway. All right. Well, God, we've ironed out all the kinks now. Hopefully, we can get into it. This is part 2 of the Ryloth arc, and basically what happened last time. They broke through the blockade after all of the effort that they had to put out, and then now this time, the tactical droids. Yeah, Obi-Wan lands their forces, but the tactical droids have used human shields to protect the big AA guns. Human shields might be a bit of a stretch. They're living shields, right? Yeah. Twi'lek human shields.
Near human shields?
Yeah.
Are they near humans?
They're humanoid, we'll call it that. But anyway, sentient shields. And so they have to find a way to sneak past some sort of elite force to destroy these guns. And along the way, 2 of the clones who were sent out on a scouting party run into this little Twi'lek girl named Numa, who lost her family, or at least thinks she has, and was at her old house trying to find them, and ends up befriending the clones in a rather adorable way, and then helps them find this back door through this tunnel thing to save the Twi'leks and end up saving the day so that they can land the assault force proper. So let's go around the table here and see what everybody thought. Michael, what did you think of the episode?
I like the episode. Same qualms as a lot of the episodes. It's short, and they shove a lot in there, and they kind of there's a lot of convenient, oh, this is happening just right then, and you don't have to wait for this, the assault force is landing just as they happen to finish all this stuff, and
that's fair.
There's espionage happening. I'm this could be a whole episode, but we're just gonna smooth right over that, and there's droids, and they're listening to their conversation stuff, but
yeah, the little Viper droid things work.
Yeah, it's just oh, this is convenient. We can just make sure everybody knows everything that's going on all at the same time.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're right. We talked about this in the last episode too. There's very mature elements that were being covered, which is nice. There's a good amount of action. It's not all action. It's not the highest level as far as the choreography and stuff, but it was a good story. It's a nice continuation of the last episode.
I loved the humanization of the clones a lot by introducing Numa into this, the little Twi'lek girl, and how Waxer and Boyle, the 2 clones, they reacted to her differently. They sort of had one was more hesitant to help her, right? And it kind of reminded me of watching some of these.
She bit him, actually.
Yeah. And and you can see why she would too, from that perspective.
Yeah,
she's
she
sees droids and she sees this massive army of armored men that have no faces, and she's rather young, so it took a while for her to figure out that they were human.
Brothers.
They weren't trying to hurt her. Yeah, and that Nera, right? That was cool. Maybe it wasn't cool in your mind. I liked
cool.
it. I liked it a lot.
Clever.
She kept saying that they were, Nera, and he's like, "What does that mean?" And then, because I guess Obi-Wan speaks Twi'leki.
Well, yeah, because when you travel the world with or the galaxy with Qui-Gon Jinn, you pick up a few things,
right? Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. That was my obligatory Tartakovsky reference.
Yeah.
Okay, but for real, Obi-Wan...
wait, before we get into this, we've got this sound effect technology on the board. I have to put in anytime, we need a ding for anytime Michael says Tartakovsky and anytime I say the dynamic between.
That's so
if we can do those two, then
all
I
these
feel
sorts of things.
we just ding like crazy. But anyway.
Obi-Wan was awesome.
Yes.
To see... So there's a couple scenes where they're throwing grenades up, or they're the droid poppers or whatever. They're throwing them up into places, and the clones are just lobbing them. They don't even care. And Obi-Wan's let me guide that and drop that right where it goes. Super cool. We see him do the beast mastery or whatever they're calling it now, and the clones are just in awe of him, just holding back this crowd of things and Obi-Wan's just awesome. I just love seeing Obi-Wan. There's none of the comedy that it's involved with Anakin being around. I just want to see the whole scene.
He's just good at what he does. Yeah, it's pretty cool. I liked it's that sort of foreshadowing to the eventual emotional blow that Order 66 brings to the table, because you get to see that bonding with the 212th Attack Battalion and Obi-Wan and Cody and all these guys working together. And Order 66, man, it just gets more and more painful to experience every time you spend more time with these clones and their Jedi. But yeah, so there's some extra characters in here we gotta talk about. You actually no, you don't see Cham in this one, do you?
Nope.
Yeah, so we'll get there next time. Spoilers. But so what did you think of Numa and how that whole situation was handled?
I've previously voiced my distaste for her 3D model. I thought she looked kind of terrifying, and she doesn't really look like a natural representation of what the Twi'leks would look like as a child. Her skull, and she's angry looking. Her skull is a weird shape. Like I don't. Are they born?
Missing.
Are they born with this weird head wrapping thing? Why did the women wear it, not the men?
What do you think about the adult Twi'leks?
They're so attractive. Like I don't know what you're talking about. Those are gorgeous creatures.
Their foreheads are crazy.
Yeah, they are pretty crazy. If you look at them compared to like Mace Windu, who they also has a very strange facial ridge, I'm like, these guys don't even have weird foreheads. That's just their forehead shape. Yeah, like what is that thing on his forehead? Spoilers. Is that his eyebrows? His eyebrows are below that. So like, I don't know. Anyway, her as a character was cute. I like that she didn't speak basic, but they communicated with her, and it was good.
Michael's like, I see that you're stylizing this. It's bad. Hashtag not my stylization.
That's a good point. That's fair. Not only
I would have preferred a movie accuracy, please, and thank you.
I wish I had a picture of the Twi'lek from the Tartakovsky series.
I wish I would have preferred Tartakovsky. Let's be real.
Okay, but don't we see... No, wait, those are half-human Twi'leks later on. Never mind.
Yeah, they're...
the children. Yep, that's a cool arc, too.
We'll get there later, but...
Spoilers!
Just spoiling the crap out of this, man. But anyway, yeah, so I really connected with it. I don't know why in particularly, other than... Because, like you're saying, the animation was not 100%.
It gets better. I'm just
going
to complain about it.
But yeah, it was definitely... I definitely bought the whole Numa arc. I think they did a really good job of humanizing the clones and making the war have some gravity to it, and showing that people are affected by this. And it doesn't get better because Numa is part of the resistance movement in the Lords of the Sith book. Grown up, she's fighting alongside these the rest of these guys. She shows up in Rebels. It's really cool, and she kind of has that sort of a tragic life, sort of like a Jyn Erso does, where it's just like you're always fighting against these external forces that just want to keep you down. And it's definitely sad to see that innocence lost on someone so young, for sure. So yeah, it was neat. I definitely enjoyed the arc a good bit. What about you, Stecker? What did you think?
Yeah, I thought that it's funny, you just said it. I thought there were the two things I wrote down, that what this episode was about was continuing to humanize the clones, and we saw that with Boyle and Waxer and Numa. And then also kind of making the Twi'lek people the sympathetic characters of the story. And I'm not sure whether that was the goal, whether the goal was to make them the sympathetic character or to shine like a poor light on the actions of the separatists in this case. But either way, it's just a rough situation. So we mentioned in the last episode about adult themes. Like we said, I actually wrote down living shields.
Yeah,
that's pretty
big deal.
That's pretty
it's
pretty
intense.
adult.
Yeah, for sure.
And then, but I agree with you. Continuing to humanize the clones, I think, is a big deal. I didn't necessarily get the same storyline what you were talking about, the relationship between the clones and Obi-Wan. I just think the clones are in awe of any Jedi they see for whatever reason. I mean,
yeah, not so much this time. I mean, you'll end up. We've had it a few times already where like they'll foreshadow where the clones that bond with their respective Jedi are the ones that you end up seeing in Order 66. So like Thyre with Yoda in Ambush or whatever. So yeah, it's interesting. I definitely, it pulls with your heartstrings, particularly when you learn more about Order 66 later on in the show. It's pretty intense stuff. Talk about adult themes.
Yeah, and so the other thing I wrote down that's just kind of humorous is just the casual use of the term tailheads. It just kind of
it seems like a slur, doesn't it?
Well,
it's
it
okay,
100%
they don't speak
is.
basic anyway.
I mean, like in today, I would think in today's culture, but I think also just in war culture, that's definitely a slur. But normally you would use that to describe the enemy, and these are like the people you're trying to save. But then again, they're not the same race. They're not the same race, and so. And apparently the planet, to be frank, doesn't look very advanced, and so these are almost savages, I guess, which is odd because you kind of grow up with Shakti, right?
And
so
well, it's a different species.
Oh,
but still.
just kidding. The
Aayla Secura. Yeah,
Secura,
you're good.
So you grow up with her as a Jedi, and frankly, a lot of different species as Jedi, just because of how diverse that group is. So you just assume that the whole galaxy is that advanced, so. Yeah, but
I think that might be a bit of a potential misunderstanding because of the way the episode was shot. I don't think, while it is an arid planet, I don't think they're particularly unadvanced. It's more so war-torn at this point because they got, like Michael was saying, the real short end of the stick as far as the invasion goes and everything, and they've just been really destroyed. And then even still, like, moving on into the Lords of the Sith book again, seeing them in the middle of pre-galactic civil war in the dark times, it's the same situation. They're just really under the boot the whole damn time.
Yeah, they're on the fringes, so the Republic can't really help them quite so much. And then they're also being constantly enslaved by the Hutts. Like the two primary Twi'leks we know in canon are like Aayla Secura and Ula, who's like Jabba's slave dancer prior to. So like those are the only two.
Crazy that you know the name of.
Yes.
No, that's like our
why
thing,
we're here,
man.
bro.
That's what we do.
I'm so impressed.
We know names. That's why I was so embarrassed by Villain 43 in the last episode.
I still don't know his name.
But we don't know him, but we know the others, or at least as many as possible.
But it was a good, as far as those two goals, I definitely connected with the clones, and I definitely sympathized with the Twi'leks, and I think that if those were the goals of the episode, which it very much seemed to be, then I think it was a good episode.
No, yeah, for sure. I think you're right, and it was a really good one. I enjoyed it a lot. I would definitely recommend. This is one of the stronger parts of the arc for sure. But yeah, we'll be back to finish up part 3 next time. This has been Sides of Coins, and we'll see you then.
Nara?
No.
Nara?
Tailheads.
Nara!
Tailheads.